Dear football, how are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani. David. Smash like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on the stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name and we're here to obviously talk about certain things concerning the side of side of Arsenal and how the other results of the Premier League really went down to happen at different stadiums. But Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously get their first loss of the season because they had played in 3 different competitions and they hadn't gone ahead to obviously see themselves really register any loss in the Premier League. They had gone ahead to play 7 games, and in those 7 games they had gone ahead to obviously win 5 and drawn 2, and they had played 2 Champions League games. They had drawn 1 against Atlanta and 1 against PSG. In the Carabao Cup, they had gone ahead to obviously beat a side known as they knocked out Bolton, and they're really preparing to play against Preston North End away. And they had played in total 10 games, and they had obviously won 7 and drawn 3. That was Arsenal for you in a very much blistering form in there for you. But they've gone ahead obviously coming through and really fall a victim as they obviously fell to the sword of Brentford into this beautiful game of football that was played at the Vitality Stadium. And obviously I never saw it as a loss. I want to let you know, if you've been watching me for a very long time, I was like, this is the game that Arsenal needed to win, and I knew to it that they had to win it. But obviously the decision of the red card, obviously it was really inevitable, because when you do what Saliba did, when you're the last man, obviously it's really a penalty. Sorry, it's really a red card penalty, and you're given matching off orders, all matching orders off the pitch by the referee. So I don't want to see people coming out and really criticizing the referee or what. I think the referee had gone ahead obviously do something great. He had gone ahead obviously offer a yellow card, and the VAR was like, come and really review this, and he went ahead obviously issue a red card, and it was a straight red card, and he was really sent off. So we are powered by Mono Gadgets, dealers in brand new phones and brand new laptops, and you see them there. They also deal into what you call used phones and used laptops. That is Mono Gadgets. Call them on +256 70 99 88 665, and you'll thank me later for what they really are gonna really offer you as a person who is really watching in this beautiful channel. And when you call them, tell them that it's Rokani David that has gonna hit obviously refer you to them, because they'll obviously get to know that we are really doing the job, and you people are really watching in from all centers, from all corners of the world. Now Arsenal started very well, and the game was really doing great, but it was until in the 27th minute when Leandro Trossard went ahead to obviously find himself in a position of really doing this blind pass. Saliba couldn't obviously meet the ball, and Saliba went ahead to obviously make a very bad decision of really bringing Evangelisson down. And I would look at this goal, and the first person to blame is Leandro Trossard, you know, for the send-off of Saliba, because for me I have 2 people to blame. First is Trossard. How do you play such a ball to obviously a center back and don't really play it into his vicinity? You get very poor game reading and very poor pass coming in from Leandro Trossard. And this is where I came up and obviously said, why does Arteta have double standards? You know, a man that led to Arsenal conceding a red card, that is Trossard, was kept to the pitch for a very long period of time, you get, and Jakub Kivio, for just one mistake, he was really taken off. So the first person to blame for this goal was Leandro Trossard, who went ahead obviously put in a blind pass that really led to William Saliba going for a pull of this guy known as Evangelisson. But even for Saliba, You don't do that. You don't do that. A player in the caliber of Saliba, you don't do that, because these are just 27 minutes, 25, 26, 27 minutes. And if Arsenal go down by 1 goal, they really had lots of minutes to level up that game and really win it, because we know how good Arsenal is. And you saw how Arsenal really played. Even when they're really having a man down, they could obviously come up and obviously win that beautiful game of football. But it went beyond Arsenal, and I was like, why did Saliba do this? You get? And I have my friend called Alan. He has been one of those that has gonna obviously be watching in these games on several occasions, and he obviously told me that Saliba is not really having some good time. And I noticed it, by the way, in the game of Southampton, but it was more evident in the game of Leicester City, and when he was playing for the national team of France, Saliba looked rusty. Let's all admit, he looked rusty, and I think it was very naive for William Saliba to obviously do that. You get? Why do you go for that push? Because when you look at this line, Saliba is the last man. If Ben White was ahead of William Saliba, there is no way VAR would have gone ahead obviously calling for what we call a red card. It would have gone ahead to stay as a yellow card. It would have gone ahead to stay as a yellow card, and everything would have gone ahead to stay that way. But he was the last man, and he really went ahead to commit that foul. And I think Saliba never did justice to the side of Arsenal, and this was really very, very bad. And the yellow card was cancelled, and he was really given a straight red card. That is William Saliba, and that red card obviously saw him being sent off the field of play, and that has been his first senior red card. That is Saliba's first red card in his senior career. He has never gone ahead obviously get a red card. He has been really very, 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 very okay, and he was a very, very, very neat defender. And you cannot obviously I cannot even remind you of a time when he came up and obviously went ahead obviously caused such stuff into his career. But that's what Saliba went ahead to do, and he had blood on his hands, and the blood on his hands resulted into him being red carded. As you see there, the referee went ahead obviously see what we call the side monitor, and it was like it's supposed to be a red card. William Saliba was sent off the field of play, and he couldn't obviously proceed any further, and it was a red card. And it's right, it was a right call by VAR, and I think he really walks off. And what does this mean? You understand? It's a straight red card. That is it. A straight red card means William Saliba is really going to be missing some good games of Arsenal, and he might not play for Arsenal in the Premier League until when we get back into the next after the international break, because Arsenal are going to be hosting Liverpool next Sunday. He's going to be missing out on that game. Arsenal are going to be playing Newcastle 2nd November. He's going to be missing out on that game, and he's really going to be missing out the game where Chelsea is going to be hosting Arsenal on the 10th of November as we prepare to go into the international break. After the international break, we'll return at Emirates when Arsenal is hosting Nottingham Forest. But he might play the game of Chelsea because Arsenal has a game of Preston North End. He won't really play it, meaning that he'll be a variable when Arsenal is playing Chelsea. That's when Saliba is really going to be a variable again. But he'll play against Shakhtar Donetsk. He'll play against Inter Milan in the Champions League. And I think he'll play against Chelsea. But it might be a blessing, this guys, for the club of Arsenal in what they've gonna obviously do, because he has been playing very many games. Saliba has been playing very many games, and maybe him playing one game a week might obviously get them a very huge goal and obviously create lots of comfort and maybe some rest for him to obviously rejuvenate his energies and see to it that the batteries are really going to be getting to where they deserve to be. Now, the question is, who is really going to be played into that position of William Saliba? When they brought on Jakub Kiwior, the manager is going to take him off because Jakub Kiwior has found himself in a position of really gifting a penalty, or gifting out a ball that resulted into a penalty, that resulted into a second goal for the club of Bournemouth, and the manager took him off, meaning that he's not going to be trusting him. And if at any one moment this manager is really trying to do what I'm thinking, he might play, if Timber is back, he'll play Timber into the right-sided centre-back to replace Saliba, and I know he can really do that job very, very, very well. So that's how things really panned out. But Arsenal really had some good chances. After the red card and after the guy was really sent off, this is Mikel Merino. He came up and obviously had a very good chance, but he really went into the side net. But I think you've gone ahead to obviously understand how good this guy is. I'm talking about a player called Merino. You've gone ahead to see his class and why Arsenal went ahead to bring him in. He really put in a very big shift, and I'm like, this is the player I told you about. And you've gone ahead to obviously understand that what I told you, that when Merino hits form, I've told you that he's going to come up and obviously take over the position of Thomas Partey. Rice will be played in the CDM area, and Mikel Merino will come in through and obviously play as a box-to-box midfielder. You've seen his touch. It's really brilliant and it's really great. But there is one thing I really blame Mikel Arteta in that game. I think he got it wrong at a certain point X. And how did he get it wrong? He got it wrong in the substitution he made. If I was Mikel Arteta, I wouldn't have gone ahead obviously take off Raheem Sterling. You get? I would have gone ahead obviously pull Declan Rice into the central defense like he did when he took off Jakub Kiwior. Declan Rice can play as a central defender, play him in the central defense with Gabriel Magalhaes, and then get in those four players, Merino, Partey, Sterling, and Trossard, to play into the midfield. You understand? After playing them into midfield, then get Kai Havertz to play as a utility player. You get? Like a player who has no position. Like, let him be anywhere where the ball is, because he has the height, he has the skill to obviously hold onto that ball, and he might be that player to obviously result into that pass that could really see Arsenal really creating a moment of magic into that game. So I think even Arteta got it wrong at a certain point X, because he was supposed to obviously keep those players on and not really make that substitute, because it never really made sense having three midfielders, Yet you could obviously get Benjamin White, you could obviously get Declan Rice and play him in the central defense, and then you get Merino and Partey, Trossard, and Sterling to play into that game, because Sterling was really in some good form. You saw how he obviously went ahead, obviously maneuver into that final third of the pitch. Looked like he was sharp, and his sharpness is really getting to the levels that are really going to be benefiting Arsenal. So I think he really went ahead, obviously hurry a little bit, because it was still the first half and there was no reason for him to obviously come on and really put in that shift. So I'm like, he really had a very big chance for him to obviously make that decision, but he really never went ahead obviously do this. Now, when Martinelli came on, he went ahead obviously miss out this chance, and when this chance got missed, I was like, this side is also gonna get its chance, but are they gonna miss it, or they're really gonna put it in the back of the net? And obviously when they got their chance, I'm talking about Bournemouth, they went ahead to bury it in the back of the net. Martinelli was here, first touch I think when he came on. Merino, the Arsenal side pressed very well, the goalkeeper went ahead to gift that ball, and when he gifted it, you know what happened. Merino, unselfish as he was, he played into Martinelli, and for me, I believe in this area Martinelli is supposed to do better. He's supposed to do better, because he was really seeing this goal area, and I think he would have gone ahead obviously put in a very big shift altogether. So that is the side of Bournemouth, and after missing out on that chance, they went ahead obviously bring in a corner, and Christie went ahead to bury that ball into the back of the net. Arsenal, being the set piece kings, have gone ahead obviously concede a goal in a set piece. You understand? And after that goal, then Jakub Kiwior goes ahead to obviously make a very big mistake. And when Jakub Kiwior went ahead to make a very big mistake, you know what resulted into this? It resulted into being a foul. And I felt like at a certain point it wasn't a penalty because Evanilson falls into the goalkeeper. But you ask yourself, when the goalkeeper goes down and you're Evanilson and you're losing the ball, what do? You throw yourself into his legs, and then it's a penalty given. I think that's what you're supposed to do, and that's how brilliant he went ahead to obviously think and acted smart. So Evanilson was not given the penalty this time round. He wasn't really given the penalty. You understand? Because when he was given the penalty against Chelsea, he really missed it. And now it was the son to Patrick Kluivert, known as, I think, Justin Kluivert, who came on and went ahead to send David Raya the wrong way, and it resulted into 2-0 lead by the side of Bournemouth. And at that point, I really got to know that it's over for Arsenal. There is no way the manager would really do that. And what Arteta did that I never really wanted to understand was taking off Jakub Kiwior. And when he took off Jakub Kiwior, I was like, all right, he has gone ahead to make one mistake. You've gone ahead to take him off. Then why didn't you also penalize Leandro Trossard? Because Trossard was the man who went ahead to obviously play that back pass that resulted into Saliba really getting sending off the field of play. So I think that was really emotional and he reacted very badly. So Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously lose their first game of the season, and anyone who was thinking of an unbeaten run, it is over. It is over. And then we head into what we call the game starts. Bournemouth 13 shots, Arsenal had 6. Bournemouth had 4 shots on target, Arsenal had 1 shot on target. 48% ball possession by Bournemouth, 52% ball possession by Arsenal. 398 passes completed by Bournemouth, 438 passes completed by Arsenal. 79 passing accuracy. Arsenal also had 79% passing accuracy. 12 fouls by Bournemouth, 11 fouls by the side of Arsenal. 1 yellow card was issued to either sides that took part in this encounter, that is Arsenal and Bournemouth. No red cards for Bournemouth. 1 red card to Arsenal. It went to William Saliba. Then 1 offside to both sides, 7 corners to Bournemouth, and 4 corners to the side of Arsenal. And that's how everything really went ahead to happen down at the Vitality Stadium. And Arsenal went ahead to obviously lose their first game of the season. So Arsenal has missed out on the chance to really go on top, because if they won today, Arsenal would have gone ahead to be having 20 points, right? Ahead of Liverpool, Man City, because these two teams are really playing tomorrow. And I don't know what Arsenal is really going to do, because the side of Man City had gone ahead to be, I think, some 2 points ahead of Arsenal. And when they drew, I think they dropped points. And when they dropped points, they went ahead to find themselves in a position of really getting closed down by Arsenal. Now, tomorrow, Man City has a chance to obviously go 3 points ahead of the club known as Arsenal. So Arsenal has gone ahead to miss out on a very big chance. And these are the fine margins that at the end of the season will come up and obviously be talking about as to why Arsenal went ahead to obviously miss out onto their trophy. You get 3 points dropped. They were really uncalled for. I've been one of those that has been so much reflective to what the previous season was, as far as Arsenal and its wrongs and rights were concerned. Last season, Arsenal beat Bournemouth home and away. And at this stadium, Arsenal beat Bournemouth by 6-0, and now they've gone ahead to draw points. And that is really unacceptable. In games like these, those mistakes shouldn't obviously lead the way. So, Man City is having 17 points. They're playing against Wolverhampton Wanderers tomorrow. I don't know what result is really going to be, because even Man City is unpredictable, not having Rodri, and you know how Wolverhampton Wanderers can obviously put in a situation. Arsenal, 17 points there, and they're also having Aston Villa having 17, Chelsea is having 14. Now, Arsenal might pray for maybe Liverpool to draw with Chelsea and Man City to draw with the side of Wolverhampton Wanderers. But won't that be a huge ask for the club of Arsenal? So we are waiting to see how that happens. But the only team that can go, I see no team that can go ahead of Arsenal, because Chelsea, if they play, they're really going to be having 17 points. And I think they can go ahead of Arsenal if at all they beat Liverpool, because they'll be having a better goal difference. You get? But Man City and Liverpool are really ahead of them. So the table looks like it's not going to change a lot, because it's Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, and Wolverhampton Wanderers that haven't gone ahead to play. You get? Nottingham is playing over the weekend. And now, Man United has gone ahead to win their game of football today, and they're really having 11 points, 8 games. And you see how things really change a lot. You know, as I told you, that I really try to see the shape of the season or the Premier League table after 10 games. With 2 games to go, you obviously have to ask yourself how this Premier League table is really going to be looking like, because now Arsenal has played the same games with Man United, but Man United is really 6 points behind the side of Arsenal. When you look at the fixture of Arsenal, you really worry a little bit. If at all they're not having William Saliba in the central defense, how are they really going to look? Because they're going to be playing Liverpool without Saliba. They're going to be playing Newcastle without Saliba. How are they really going to line up? Remember, Tomiyasu is injured. Timber is also injured, and we don't know how Timber is really going to be progressing, to say it that the manager makes a decision on who comes in through to play in his position. So you never know what results are really going to be coming up out of the 2 fixtures that Arsenal is going to be playing without Saliba in the Premier League. And if they really happen to lose points against Liverpool and United wins, then United will be at 14 points, and then Arsenal might be like 4 or 3 points behind ahead of Manchester United. So I told you 10 games are really very important, and you see the impact of those 10 games. So that is it for the club of Arsenal, and I have someone who is already into the comment section, and he has something to tell me. He has told me that Arsenal should be scoring goals at the first 20 minutes in order to control the game, especially while playing bottom 10. But I think Saliba really made a very big mistake. For me, that was really very amateurish. You know, a player at the level of Saliba would know very well that, all right, let Evangelisson run with the ball and let me try to obviously chase him and really pile pressure onto him. If the goal goes in, we still have close to 70 minutes to play. That is it. They had close to 70 minutes to play, so there was no need for him to go and really tackle or pull that player. I think, however much Trossard did something bad, Saliba did something worse. You get? And all this loss is really going to be looking at him. Why did he obviously stretch his hand to obviously stop Evangelisson? You get? I'm having Michael, Silani, and also, you can't win all the games. What is needed is to learn from those mistakes and rectify on them. But these are the kind of games that Arsenal is supposed to be winning. And let me tell you, we went into this game of football. Tell me the truth, Michael. Did you expect Arsenal to be beaten today? You know, we never expected Arsenal to be beaten today. You know, but what happened today was really very, very, very bad. I tell you, if you are playing against a team like City, you don't have to drop points on teams like these. And now you are just looking at these 3 points dropped, but the last time we saw an Arsenal defense without William Saliba, it was really porous. It couldn't really hold itself against big teams, you know. And Arsenal is going to be playing Newcastle, and Arsenal is going to be playing Liverpool. How are they really going to act? And I think the only player that can come in front, obviously, put in a shift like that of William Saliba is Julian Timber. No one knows how Julian Timber is. in the pre-match press conference, Arteta told us that Timber was really progressing very well, but he was not part of the team. Saka also was out of action. So I don't know whether over the weekend these players are really going to be back, because like today, the reason why Arsenal missed Bukayo Saka was Saka has been the mastermind of all the corners that Arsenal have going to hit to score. You know, he has the most set piece assists, I think, in the world. That is Saka for you. So if you're really having a player like that in a game like this, with 4 corners that Arsenal have going to hit to get, he would have going to hit obviously be very, very, very important to the side of Arsenal. So I think all what that is really going to be happening, we have to obviously put in the required shift and see how these other players really return to come in through and obviously do the job, you know. And obviously Arteta has the best answers to this, and we're waiting to see how everything is really going to be panning out. But bad result for the club of Arsenal, and I don't think that it's really gonna reflect well or go down well to Mikel Arteta, because he believes that this was supposed to be a very good game to win. And obviously Arteta, speaking onto the Sky Sport, he said the decision has been made. It was made on the pitch and then it was changed. After that, they are not going to change it. Asked if he agreed, he added, yes, decision made. Obviously, if anyone comes out and really said that, if anyone came out and really said that it was not a red card, then football is not meant for you. You get? Football is not meant for you. What Saliba did is really unforgivable. You get? It's really unforgivable. You know, a goal goes in, you are still 11 versus 11. Arsenal would have gone ahead to obviously score a goal. You get? Would have gone ahead to score a very beautiful goal and really win that game of football. You understand? It's really okay. And then for Yakub Kivio, Theo Walcott has said for Kivio to come on, cause the penalty with his mistake and then get substituted. These are times when he needs his teammates around him, obviously. But I think it's very naive of Mikel Arteta. Why did he have to do that? You know, this is a player, Yakub Kivio, who found himself in a position, you get? Who found himself in a position, one, of wanting to go. Teams like Juventus, AC Milan, and very many other teams wanted to sign him. Arteta was like, I'm going to hold on to you. And he makes that mistake. He's taken off the field of play. I think it was really so harsh for the manager. I'm having a Mubaraka Nabongolo. Mr. Aradi, agree with you. Saliba made a mistake. Yeah, it is a silly mistake. Let's admit. You get? If it was in the dying minutes, you know, when Arsenal is leading by 1-0, you know, and the guy is really going to score. When you do that and Arsenal wins that game, you will be a hero. But with 70 minutes to go, I don't see it making sense. I'm having Mariam Bavirie. Too early to panic, only 8 games and 30 to go, yet Arsenal has never played at full strength. It's either injuries or a red card. Yeah, I understand, games to go, but I told you always that last season, the games that really failed Arsenal to win the trophy were the games that they're supposed to be winning in the first half of the season. The draw to Fulham at home, the loss to Fulham away, a loss to West Ham at the Emirates, a draw at Emirates against Tottenham Hotspur. Those 4 results really played a very big part into Arsenal losing out on a trophy. Now, if Arsenal ever lose out on a trophy from like 1 point again, I'm just insinuating, I'm not being a prophet of doom, but I'm just painting a picture. Most of you guys will reflect back and say like, all right, if Saliba never did that, would have gone ahead obviously do the needful. I agree with you, Mariam. There's still 30 games to go. There's still 90 points to play for, and Arsenal has 17 of those. Not so? Because 30 games are 90 points. So Arsenal have gone ahead obviously get 17 out of the possible 24, meaning that they've gone ahead to lose 7 points into the mix. So we wait and see how that pans out, but everything is really great. Mubaraka says overplaying of back passes. I think they were not bad, but the problem is they were not accurate, you know. Trossard makes a very big howler in that pass because he never really went ahead to notice where Evan Lisson was, you understand? Then for Yakub Kivio, he really did something bad. You know, I love the player, but I think he has just given himself an exit out of Arsenal. I remember that's how Arteta got rid of Albert Sambi Lokonga. I remember the game when Arsenal was playing Man City, you know, and Lokonga was taken off January transfer window to the side of, was it Crystal Palace as a player? And ever since then, he never went ahead, obviously, get back into the team of Arsenal. So I'm going to be coming back with the player ratings and see and rate every player and how I went ahead to play into that beautiful game of football. But thank you for being part of this live. I've decided to come and redo this match reaction live because I know most of you are not in the mood. So I was like, I want to see what your thoughts are about this beautiful game of football that was played at Vitality Stadium. Full time, Arsenal 0, Bournemouth 2, and Arsenal are really going to be playing on Tuesday against Shakhtar Donetsk. But in that game, William Saliba is